Welcome to the tutorial video where we're going to discuss how to use the M6 keel clamps and their negative volumes. So we're going to be drawing up this fixture today. So let's grab our timeline and travel back in time. So we're all the way back to here. The first thing that I did in this case was modeled up my pallet. In this case it is a 110 diameter by 48 millimeter long piece of aluminium that I had on hand. First thing we did was pull in our models of the parts that we want to put in the pallet, then proceeded to mate them into what seemed like an appropriate position. Sorry, not mate, joint. This isn't solid, this is fusion. So jointed them from the center. We just pulled them out by center mount, got the orientation and the level to where we wanted it. We then made some pockets, and to do that we projected the geometry and then just added a little bit of clearance on the sides. The clearance there is just so that it's easier to mill the pockets, and we're not going to end up with any funny business there. From there we then pulled in the negative volumes of the keel clamp M6s. I just placed them randomly because I then jointed them in place. And if we have a look at this, you'll see it is jointed top of the part to the top of the keel clamp on center, and that is exactly where you want them to position. If you have a taller part, you can use the bottom front edge of the keel clamp to lock it to the bottom of the part, but in this case I'm locking it to the top. We then did a Boolean subtract, which cuts away the negative volumes, leaving these cutouts, which are perfectly adequate for running a keel clamp. We then pulled in the models of our keel clamps. When you pull them in, you'll see that they overhang the front there by about 0.25 of a millimeter. There we go, 0.25 of a millimeter. That is your maximum clamping range on these. So you can clamp a part that's 0.25 smaller or 0.25 bigger with the standard negative volumes. Now, in theory, this would work other than the parts fouling, but we'll get to that shortly. This would work, but we like to go through and clean up the fixture a little bit. So in this case, we had to clear the sides here so the parts wouldn't foul. We also went and added a fillet in the corner and just cleaned up the pocket a bit. We then took this funny ledge away because we don't actually need it, and then we put some holes underneath our drilled holes here. That's just to give us clearance for the drill tip and for the thread mill, because we want to thread mill these right through. Then lastly, we pushed this surface back by 0.5 millimeter because you definitely don't want the clamp to bottom out on your fixture and not your part. So we recommend you leave a little bit of clearance between the front of the clamp and the fixture. If I go and turn this off, you'll see now with the clamp fully extended, there's a bit of a gap. And that's kind of important. Not more than kind of, it's really important. And then lastly, when we cut out here, we have this little funny step in the bottom, so we just threw a fillet in there. But yeah, now we're going to send this through to the LK and go make some shavings.